Well, good morning, everyone. How are you all this morning? I hope you're just fine. I'm just going to do just a little bit of a review for the people who maybe this is your first time. How could that be? Uh, this is week 50, for heaven's sakes. We only have 2 weeks and 3 days left to make our goal and make ourselves proud of what we've done. So I'm Peggy. If you haven't met me before, my goal is to clean 2,000 pounds away from my house, my yard, my neighbors' yards, if they so choose to, leave it for me, and take that 2,000 pounds and actually turn it back into soil and put it back into my garden. So you might ask, well, gee, what all do you put in there, Peggy? And we do fruit and vegetable peels. We just by ourselves, it's just two of us. We produce about 2.5 pounds. Some weeks more, some weeks less. So I just gauge that as our base. 2.5 pounds of fruit and vegetable peels, you know, avocado shells. Sometimes it's more, but I've just kept it at 2.5 pounds just because that's an easier way to do it. And we like avocados, and not only do we save the shells, but the the seed, the pit, whichever way you want to call this, it's both, can be ground and used in many ways. You can use it, it's a food, we can eat this, but you can also take this little pit, this little seed, and chop it in half, chop it in quarters, boil it, and drink the water. And it makes a tea. It makes kind of a nutty flavored tea. It's really good for you. Lots of vitamins in it. So there are so many things that we can do with instead of throwing things away. Excuse me. I have a frog this morning and it doesn't just doesn't want to leave. Your banana peels, you can just soak those in water. Your even your tap water, the if there's bleach in it, that will dissipate, and the banana peels will leach out the potassium, and that of course is wonderful for your blooming plants. Anything that has flowers, nuts, anything that's producing something. So there's all sorts of things. Your fruit and vegetable peels, I've said that. Uh, Now anything on the coffee, your tea bag, your coffee grounds, your tea bags. Uh, if you're making in tea bags or loose tea, the coffee filters you can use in the bottom of your planter to keep the soil from leaching out, from leaking out the bottom. I also give mine. I'm a worm farmer. I am a vermiculturalist, so I actually put those in my worm bin, and they break down very, very quickly. Anything over there, any of your expired grains, any of your expired products that you think, oh, I'm going to throw that away, it can be added back to your soil. If you don't have worms, you can gradually add that into your soil. If you don't want to have a big compost pile, you can trench compost. Over on this side, I just wanted to remind everyone it's getting to be the end of the year. So, all of those things, like if you still get a telephone book and they bring a new one, well, that can be recycled, the old one. You can again shred it and use it out in your garden. It's getting to be Christmas. It really is. And your the cards that you'll be getting, if you throw them away afterwards, there are many ways to reuse them. They do take them at places like uh, retirement centers, like what do I want to say? Where your parents have problems, dementia or what have you, and if your county has this uh, senior citizen groups, they'll take the cards and use them, like as cutouts and stuff. Keeping people busy, keeping them engaged, making them creative, that sort of thing. It's all about creating in your mind what you can do with what somebody else would be just throwing away and buying something new. So any of this uh, could, could be shred for your worms, for your compost, or given away. It's all cardboard or paper products that could go back into it. I save my cotton. If I don't use the cotton as a product, like I'm taking off makeup or anything like that, uh, in the old days we would just buy a bag of cotton balls, and that's what you used to take your makeup off. That's what you used if you were taking your nail polish off. Uh, Now we get, I do anyway, I get an awful lot of vitamins and supplements, and they always seem to have cotton in them. Cotton is from a cotton plant. So guess what? It breaks back down into the earth, soil. So once I use them for something like nail polish remover, that does go in the trash. But if I'm using them uh, just to wipe out something, like the vitamin bottle or whatever, which that's not a problem. I will get this to my worms. Our corks. Corks come from a cork tree. It's they peel off the cork, and then it's made into corks. Most uh, most wineries are starting to use some of them screw top, or they're using more of a plastic. But the old folks who are still using these can be recycled. You can put them at the bottom of your pots if you're a gardener and you want to lighten up your soil. These are certainly lighter than like a heavy soil. It's getting to be Christmas, I said. And your wrappers. If you put things in bags, let's be honest, those bags can be used again. Doesn't hurt it. The tissue paper, worms love tissue paper, but if you don't have that, dig a hole and put your, tissue paper breaks down like, milliseconds there. But have you noticed when you're buying wrapping paper? My husband's one of those where he just keeps cutting it. He doesn't. It doesn't occur to him to use the other half. He uses what he has and then he leaves it. But a lot of times they're not in a roll, but there's this brown paper in about the last uh, double circle. Well, have you ever wrapped anything in brown paper or in brown paper bags? You can really do some very decorative ideas. Um, there was a time when we were starting out and poor, and I would get bags from the grocery store and I would make them into wrapping paper, and then I would, paint them with decorations on, and I mean they were kind of like artwork in their own, and I didn't have to pay the, dollar or $2 for a roll that they were back then. Of course, things have gotten much more expensive. You shred any papers, cardboard, what have you that you're getting. Paper towels, toilet paper rolls, any of your stuff that's wrapped with the paper separators, eggshell, egg cartons, any of this stuff. When we sweep our floor, the sweepings, instead of being put into the trash, go into the worm bin. If we have a dryer vent lint and it's basically cotton clothing. So cotton breaks down to soil. So basically, you're trying to get everything back into the soil. If somebody brings me flowers, if I have any of my stuff that's outside, any of my things that are outside, that flowers, uh, grass clippings, trying to think of anything else. When I cut my shrubs, I actually cut those into like 2-inch pieces so that Rick can go over it with a lawnmower. Then he empties that out and then he hits it with a lawnmower again. And that second time is almost, um, what is it when you macerates? He almost breaks it down where you can see the liquids coming out of the leaves, and it's like you're using a mortar and pestle to break something down. So I think those are all the things that what we're doing. If you ask why are we doing it, and I sometimes don't go over this enough, because why are we doing it? Well, I used to say, well, it's just to lessen the landfill and what goes out to the trash. All true. We are trying to keep 2,000 pounds out of the trash for the year 2024. But at the same time, I'm not doing that just for society, just for Mother Earth. I'm actually doing it for me, because this poundage actually improves my soil. Now, what's amazing is uh, because I'm adding it weekly or bi-weekly, you really don't see an immediate improvement. It's not like I've gone out and bought 10-10-10 or 20-20-20, triple phosphate, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And you'll see an immediate, oh boy, look at that. Oh, everything grew, It's like an everyday improvement. It's like you're brushing your teeth, you're combing your hair, you're washing your face, you're exercising, you're eating the right food. You're on a track, and you're able to stay there. And the track moves ever so slowly at keeping things going. Every once in a while you get knocked back, you have a hurricane, and or you have a deluge that washes things away, and you just keep moving. So it improves the soil. Because we're going organic, you're allowing the bacteria and the microbes in the soil to grow stronger, and to be able to ward off some of the pests that have also grown stronger, because they have fought off these pesticides that have come and hit the weak guys. So these are the strong ones. So now we're working back towards organic, and the food that we are raising is becoming better. It's becoming more, the nutrients that we're getting, it's becoming more nutrient dense. There's more of them in there, I always picture the Volkswagen pulling up in front of the college in the 50s and 60s, and instead of 4 people being able to get in, they get in, 12 or 14. You're cramming in those nutrients into that pepper, or that tomato, or the beans that you're eating, or and that's wonderful. But you're also, the flowers you're raising are becoming, I think, more beautiful, more natural. You're allowing them to grow slower, so that their stems are stronger, and the next generation, you take those seeds, and that next generation is going to be even better. And also we're avoiding chemicals. You didn't hear about all the eczema and all the people who had. I never knew anybody with a nut allergy growing up. I never knew anybody really who had much in the way of allergies. And so um, it's interesting that we have a healthier, better life, and yet we seem to have more problems. I mean, did you ever hear about a doctor who was an allergy specialist? I mean, it was just, I I didn't. Anyway, that's pretty much my goal, and I'm so pleased to say that last week um, we hit the goal, and it was actually made it to 2,000. It was 2,007 pounds, 15.3 ounces. And this week, holy cow, I was trimming back. This was Hell Week, by the way. Our roof was done. Uh, Thursday morning, is that right? Wednesday, our dumpster arrived. Pardon me, but it's a big ass dumpster out in my driveway. Uh, that arrived, and the dumpster, by the way, I made a video. If you look back at it on the roof and what have you, a dumpster. This is a smaller dumpster. Empty is 1,300 pounds. That's a big heavy dumpster. Doesn't smell too good either. Just saying. And this is all dried material. I mean, there's no food in this except for if somebody throws something in there. But they arrived at 5:30 a.m. Pitch dark out there. Rick is off for his walk. I'm in the house alone. And I knew they were coming, but I assumed they were coming 7 o'clock. 5:30 people, they're on the roof. So I turn on the porch light and I go out, and I think I'm being funny. I said, oh boy, I think I have Santa Claus on my roof. The head guy was about 6 inches shorter than me, and he said, hello? And I thought, oh gosh, okay, he speaks English, he speaks Spanish and doesn't speak English. I speak English and I don't speak Spanish. So I just said, good morning. And he said, hello. I said, okay, be careful. And he said, hello. So that was Wednesday. They went from 5:30 in the morning until 6:30, after 6:30 at night, and it was pounding and ripping and compressor and any other noise. But I didn't want to leave the house because, well, you just never know if somebody's going to come through the roof. We already had 2 leaks in the roof and a problem, so it could happen. And I did take a half-hour walk, and Rick was back, but Rick basically stationed himself outside just to make sure that he knew what was going on and to talk to any supervisors who might come by. Then the next day was they were finishing up the rat-a-tat-tat of putting on shingles and putting gutters back on and sealing things and doing what they needed to do. They had tarps over all of my beautiful plants. When they took these huge tarps off, they just dragged them out to the street, which of course just pulled things in all directions. And the reason they put those tarps down is because the nails, there are 1,000 nails being put into that roof. And what they actually hit is a lot more than that. So they were all up in the gutters, they were down below, they put the tarps down so that they can drag them out and then collect them. They went through twice. I went through once and collected about a dozen. They were supposed to come back on Friday, but no one ever came. They might come back on Saturday, but no one ever came back. So now we are waiting for our roof inspector to come sometime this coming week. And then after that, we will hopefully get our solar put back on by the same company, and hopefully it will all work. So that's been our Hell Week. But along with Hell Week, sorry, I didn't mean to make that so long. I mean, Brian brought me 7 pounds of grass clippings. We trimmed shrubs. We did all kinds of stuff. Um, the elm tree has just been, because it's been warm and windy, and it's just dropping. So we've been working on that. So ta-da, I got over 46 pounds this week. Amazing. I really hadn't planned. I thought maybe I would be 10 or 15 tops. But anyway, that whole long story, I apologize. We went from 2007 to 2,053 pounds, 15.6 ounces. So everyone who, I only had 7 people guess, and all 7 of you, whether it was Barbie Daly, Sandra at Nana's Worms, Joe's Outdoor Places, Tony at Rand W. Farmstead, Gary at GBL, my husband, and Nick the gardener. You guys, the highest one was 2040, and so we're already past that. So I guess Nick will be the winner, since nobody else went any higher. Although I'm coming out with 2109. My head is saying that, and has been for weeks. And I thought, oh, there's no way I'd get to that. But you never know. I'm already up to 2053, and I got 2 weeks left to go. So no prizes involved. Oh, I did want to tell you that Nick the gardener, I asked you guys to, if you knew anybody who would either watch him or subscribe. And it's Nick the Gardener 1120, and you'll see there's another guy out there who looks like he's Mr. Beefcake's, bare-chested fireman-looking thing. That's not our Nick. Our Nick is, he's got his farmer's cap on, and he's a rugged-looking guy, nice-looking man, but a rugged-looking guy. And he got his 1,000 subscribers, but now he really needs to have you watch a playlist or two to put him over that 4,000 hour watch time. That would just be great. And so, he's to me, he's a Saint Nick, and it would be a nice Christmas present for him to become monetized in the next 2 weeks. The other thing I wanted to tell you was the elm leaves. I said to you guys, I bet there's 50 pounds of elm leaves up there. And of course Rick goes, no, there's probably a ton. I don't think so. And it's the outside tree. It's that big elm tree that's out there that I planted as a tiny little sapling. We moved here in 2007, and the county was giving them away, and to beautify your area. And so I planted it out there. Our HOA came after me and said, you're not allowed to do that. And I said, oh, and they were going to fine me. $100, or fine you $100 a day if you don't remove it. I thought, this is BS. These are other neighbors who somebody's given them a little bit of power. And what do they say? You give these little people power, it goes to their head like strong drink. And that's a Maggie Smith line from Downton Abbey. But it's true. Oh, you can't do that. We're going to sue you. Oh, good grief. I'm planting a tree. All I had to say was, excuse me, but we're part of a HOA, and two blocks over, they have magnolia trees planted in every swale. You can't separate that. If they can do it, we can do it. And so that tree has provided us with tremendous shade in the summer. Our electric bills in that front room are trying to keep that front room cool, in the front part of the house, was, it was useless. I mean, it was 5 degrees hotter in there because the sun would just beat right through there, even with the AC on. So it has really paid for itself. So I thought I'd get 50 pounds. I'm up to 87 pounds and I'm still out there collecting. And I'm not collecting what falls under the tree because I want to keep that, bed getting like the forest floor. So anyway, that's it. Um, this is the 15th of December. We only have 10 days till Christmas, or in our house 9 because we open our presents on Christmas Eve. That's always fun. So, and we always have. We always have. One other thing. Remember, save your bags inside your cereal, because when you have that big Christmas dinner, or you have family over and you have garbage and you don't want to put it down the garbage disposal because, well, that's wasting it, isn't it? Put it in your bag, and when you get a whole few of those bags in the freezer, keep it in the freezer. That next week, put it in your compost, let it thaw out, put it in the compost, let it thaw out, give it to the worms. Because it's been frozen and thawed, it breaks down that cell wall so it goes faster. I'm talking like I'm a crazy person. I can't think of anything else to tell you. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. I will be so happy. I will be so happy when the solar panels are back on the roof and we are collecting God's gift of sun to us. And I'm not running around turning off lights and trying to economize on electricity because we are paying for it, just like most people, versus having the sun. So anyway, that was it. I hope you like my shirt. It's one of my Christmas shirts, and I only bring them out in December. So anyway, take care, everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. And if I don't see you, Merry Christmas. And remember, garden what you've got. Come back and see me again real soon. Bye-bye.